Speaking of elite wide receivers, man, Cooper Kupp yesterday became the first player in NFL history to rack up 100 catches and 10 touchdowns in the first 12 games for his team. And there's this debate going around right now, is Cooper Kupp a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL? I think to say that he isn't is just complete blasphemy. He's on a record-setting pace. I don't know, the things that Cooper Kupp is doing right now, I don't think it's like he's not a system wide receiver. I don't think you could just plug anybody in there and they would be doing what Cooper Kupp is doing right now.
I disagree. Just because I think that, yes, he is having the best season. So if you want to go based off that, then he probably is the best wide receiver in the NFL right now. But how I like to view it is, if I'm starting a team today, is he in the top 5 receivers, right? Like, is he going to be a top 5 receiver picked? And if you say yes, you're just on drugs. No cap. He's not. There's I mean.
You're not picking the guy. You're not picking the guy who's setting NFL records in his
I am
prime.
taking, and I think these wide receivers are better than Cooper Kupp, more talented than Cooper Kupp. Disregarding their stats this year, some of them have been dealing with injuries. I think Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, DeAndre Hopkins, Justin Jefferson, Chris Godwin, Jamar Chase. I know I'm forgetting some others. Stephon Diggs, and 3 other wide receivers over Cooper Kupp, if I'm starting a team.
If you're starting a fantasy draft, who's the first one you're taking?
Well, yes, we are a fantasy podcast, so Cooper Kupp has been the best. But he is a top 5 wide receiver if you're going based off this year's stats. I just don't think he's top 5. I don't think he's a top 5 receiver talent is a better way to phrase it. Is that better?
I guess that's better. Yeah, I mean, I can't argue that because I'm not sitting there watching tape. Jamar Chase is probably more talented. Justin Jefferson is definitely more talented. Devontae Adams is definitely more talented. I can concede
if you're
that.
a GM, you're taking those guys above Cooper Kupp 10 out of 10. And if you put Chris Godwin in that role, if you put Keenan Allen in that role, you're telling me that they aren't doing the same as Cooper Kupp?
I don't know, man.
They are. Obviously, a lot of it has to do with coach, with scheme, and obviously he's with one of the best coaches in the NFL in one of the best schemes. And obviously, it's great to scheme up Cooper Kupp being wide open half the time. You can't fault Cooper Kupp for that, but I don't think he's a top 10 receiver in terms of talent.
I don't know, man. Kupp is just criminally underrated in my opinion. He did this once before in the season that Michael Thomas was destroying the league, where he was right there with Michael Thomas for the first 8 games, and then he kind of petered off for the second half of that year. But it's just in full effect right now. And I kind of look at it people kind of would say this sort of thing with Antonio Brown back in the day. It's he's just racking up all these numbers. Is he the best, or is he getting just a ton of catches? And I think that is a skill. People say that earning a target is a skill. So the fact that he's just doing this week in and week out, I think does speak to his talent, at least on some level.
Yeah, no. Nah, he's definitely talented, but straight up 1 for 1, are you taking AB or Cooper Kupp in their prime? AB is just a better route runner. I mean, they both have similar hands, more athletic, better at high pointing the ball. AB was in his prime. Just an elite receiver over a 5-year stretch, while Cooper Kupp, has had just this great year, if you really look at it.
This might be the start of the 5-year stretch, though. You never know.
Could definitely could be. And he is a top 5 wide receiver right now. And just in terms of talent, I think he is the 4th most talented wide receiver in his own division.